This is a quick video on the new Google contract feature and storage. Just want to show you guys a little bit about how it works. So this is just a contract. I just opened up a document, untitled document, whatever. But just putting information in here, and then let's see what's in your lungs. Okay, so if you click the Insert tab in your Google document, scroll down where it says e-signature fields. The reason why I like to do videos like these is because I understand that not everyone is going to have legal services at the start of their business. Not that they're not needed, but some people aren't looking for it. And I don't work with them, obviously, but I hope that this information can get to those people in order to make sure that they can start off their business on a good note, or at least not get into trouble quickly. I'm a firm believer in calling lawyers, but make sure that you don't get into trouble. This is good information to consider. Okay. So you have just some information here, and then I inserted one field and I inserted another, right? So first it says edit e-signature fields, represents the actual signature, right? So name, signature, and then notice how this says auto fields, and then these are fillable fields. So just like the name, I assign this to Rachel. The name, I assign this to Rachel. Now I can assign this to Rachel, but when it says auto fields, I'm assuming that that's going to mean that it will automatically fill in the date, that the signer can't change it. But we will see in just a minute what that looks like. So request e-signature. Okay. Send automatic reminders. So you'll see some notes. So you name the document, but you have my name, but you okay. Sign and return it. Send automatic reminders. So this says, once requested, a PDF of this Google Doc will be created, shared with recipients to sign. Note, your Google primary email address, in this case, rachel@thelawshop.com, will be viewable with others with access to the PDF. And so a good Google disclaimer right there. Language, English. So it looks like you can likely change it to some others. Yes, we're going to share it anyways. Now, e-signature request listing. You can find the new PDF in the folder below. And this is what sparked my attention. Just works me. I click the PDF. It takes me to the actual PDF that someone else can see. Okay. Even though I'm created this contract, I can't click on it to change anything, which to me comes off as a good thing. So people can't go in and start changing it after they've sent it. I can always download it. Maybe I sent it to them, but I know they don't use technology. So I've got the feature, so I know it looks how it should, but then I can just download it, have the other person sign it, and then upload that version. So we still have the print here. Create an audio or overview. Let's see what happens if we click the feature. Y'all, The fact that it's a woman's voice. This is a woman's voice, y'all. Oh my God, I hit around. Y'all, I did not submit any audio. I did not tell them I was a woman. None of this. I did not give any, like, this is what I made. Live stream, Google contract feature test, audio overview. They didn't, I thought this was just going to be like, this said, I thought it was going to read the page. I thought it was going to read the page. They determined the property business entity. Or maybe it started off with, oh, this is going to be an overview of live stream document contract feature test and explanation. Like that's all. And then it, register business thing. This is crazy. It did not do that. It's turned this into, you have this feature on, then you can, it'll sound like a podcast. Just tell them that if you're trying to send this audio, it's going to sound like a podcast. It's not going to be a it's not just going to read it to them. So know that you're going to send it in a podcast. I'm going to put a pause on that. I will upload this full overview to my YouTube channel. You can check it out. I think that's super interesting in the context of where technology is going. But anyways, okay. Let's get back to the task game. These contracts. Okay. So you see here e-signature request for, and then it has the title that I gave it, new e-signature request. It says that I, Rachel at the Law Shop in Alabama, have requested your signature on this document. Please sign and return. And block them if somebody sends you a contract that you don't like for this. Okay, so it says who sent it to who. This opinion. I'm gonna look back later to see if that changes once I've signed it. So when you send someone a contract, this is what, using this Google sign request, signature request feature, you can expect it to show up looking like this on the end of the other person. Okay, we've got start. So we're going to click start. Okay, they can type it in. Go. Now, I'm interested as to what it's going to say, since I said that my name is Rachel Payton. Jane, Elise, Doe or whatever. Jane Elise Doe, J-A-D, whatever. So even though it sent it for Rachel Payton, from Rachel Payton to Rachel Payton, I put on here Jane Elise Doe just to see what it says. Let's say by clicking adopt and sign, I agree that the name, signature, and initials above may be used to electronically sign documents through Google Workspace. When placing this signature on any document, I agree to be bound by the terms of that document. Adopt and sign. Now, this came to Rachel Payton, from Rachel Payton to me. Admin at WeBreathe.business.com. Hey, Goose, can you know? Are we done yet? Okay. Anyway, so it goes to admin at WeBreathe.business.com. Okay. All that to say, I typed in Jane Elise Doe. Sign it. Now, somebody can do this and just these are just running through hypotheticals here. None of this is legal advice. You still need to actually get legal counsel. This video does not constitute me being your legal counsel. So with that, I just want to note that this is an email for, I typed in Rachel, but admin at We Breathe Business with the name Rachel Payton. So Rachel Payton is who received this email. However, I just signed it Jane Elise Doe with this date. Now, some person might think that like, oh, well, I can just sign it any name and it doesn't matter. Like if I don't sign it as my personal name, then it doesn't matter. Well, the argument that I would put against that is that it went to your email address. So unless you're out here giving Daffy Duck your email address from the IP address, which I'm sure they'll be able to pull that metadata to find out the IP address where it was done, but there's no Jane Elise Doe that lives here. There's no Daffy Duck that lives here. And you were the only person at your house, you signed it. It's you. It doesn't matter who signed it. Now, all of that being said, if somebody else does have access to your email address, that can pose a problem for you. That's where cybersecurity comes in at for your business. You don't want somebody sending you fraudulent documents and they have access to your email address. That's why you want your two-factor authentication. That's why you want your face recognition, if you can, your finger recognition, your passwords, your whatever that shows that it's you, so that you don't have somebody else named Jane Doe and come and signing it as Rachel Payton. You don't want Jane Doe being able to access your stuff and then saying, oh, Rachel signed this, giving me access to everything she owns. No. So you want to be mindful of who has access to your email addresses if people are going to be using this type of feature. You have a lawyer and you can get some type of, signing authentication, even if that's, hopping on Zoom while you're doing the call, right? But again, you have AI and videos and, some people make stuff up. So signature picking, but just all that to say, be careful, which is why I'm breaking this down, showing you guys the pros and the cons of it. Titles there, signature pending. I put everything in there, but it still wants me to, I can view details, the signature details. Let's see. I wonder if it shows that video. No, so the audio that I created using the original sender does not show up here. So I guess you would have to send that audio overview individually. Okay. So that's the details of that. You can print it, again, sign it yourself. You can open it in a different app, again, maybe with more metadata. You can share it with others. Let's see what happens if we copy the link. States. Okay. So here it's giving the option. Still says signature payment. Okay. So it acknowledges too that it's the same thing. The same login. Mark complete. Terms and service for e-signature. Now this is with Google covering their own behind, probably related to some of the things that I mentioned here. Unless you have a managed Google Workspace account or another agreement for use of the electronic signature feature on Google, these terms apply to e-signature. Sure. So unless you have some other type of agreement or some other type of plan or some other type of protection, these terms are for this. So off first glance, it looks like Google is working against the typical long terms and services agreements. And find that interesting because it has here, you control who you do business with. Guys, usually you don't see that type of language in a terms and services agreement. But it does say before you execute any document, make sure you confirm the sender's identity. That is something that I said before. There's fraudulent things out there. So then it says, bear in mind, anyone who has access with or without permission to the email account may be able to use that account to send and execute documents. So, you know, that's your business. If you are or seen to be acting on behalf of a legal entity is a person or a business. We are all entities, all a bunch of entities, okay? So if you're seen acting on behalf of a person or a business when executing the document, that entity may be bound by the document. Okay. So it's letting you know you control which documents are executed. So it sounds like they're trying to word the terms and agreements where they are giving you some warnings, right? Like anyone who has access can be able to view it. It doesn't list it as a pro and it doesn't list it as a con. It's kind of just like, well, we just want you to know that people can access it. That is a possibility. So that's interesting. But they don't note it like as a, I mean, no terms and services are going to say it like it's a, as if it were a negative thing or as if it were a con. But that is interesting, the wording. And just again, you see language like you control which documents are executed. This seems a little bit more aligned with plain language contracts, which I like. I'm an integrative lawyer. I believe in conscious contracts. So I believe that people should have contracts that they can understand. So the fact that it's a terms and services agreement, it tells you when's the last time it was modified. I find that date super interesting. June 3rd, 2024. So that means that this has been around longer. They're just pushing it a little bit more now than they have historically. But okay. So these are the terms and services. I recommend going in here and reading these. Like I said, they are more in plain language. They do try to make it sound a little bit more like it's a more of a, oh, fun. It's all pros, but just giving you some heads up. It does have some country specific language in some form or fashion, noting Brazil. So let's see. And then you have to note, let's just make sure that these are the same terms of service on both of them. Don't let this moon taste food, guys. Check everything. Okay. Same document. Same document. And then I have it interesting. It does have sign up for Google Workspace newsletter. I'm pretty sure I am signed up on it. And I'm guessing that's a separate privacy policy. So I would imagine that Google's e-signature policy also is a part of its larger privacy policy, which, as you can see, the font is much smaller. And, this is just the policy. It does have some videos and trying to make it easier to understand. But this is where I would get more into okay, it's 1,000 pages long. This is clearly not 1,000, but this is a lot of reading for a layperson, which again, that's where cybersecurity, certain contracts, certain softwares come into. Okay. So we're back here. We've read the terms and services, both pages, and then we even check Google's privacy policy. We agree. Even though Jane Listo doesn't live there, that's okay in this context for the test. All right, your signature request completed. You sign this document, you'll receive a signed copy. You guys can see it comes through almost instantly.
Okay, y'all, at this point, I actually don't know what happened. Literally, all of my audio just went out, so I'm having to do this voiceover. Now, we have here where I thought it was really interesting that it did give us Jane Doe as what we wrote in, even though obviously this is somebody else that is signing the document. But here it has the details where it tells me, what's going on, the status that it's signed, when exactly it was signed. It also gives me a breakdown of the activity with the document. Again, gives me the date and time that it was signed. It does note that it is Jane Doe, Jane Elise Doe on there. So if I were to have it, put whatever name in the future, I'm curious if that would automatically put me as Jane Doe or if I would have to go in and change it. And it says it's signed by who did the electronic, what day it was completed, when it was sent, when it was signed, and when it was officially completed. Section has that the email address indicated above for each signer is associated with the Google account and may either be the primary email address or secondary email address associated with that account. So that's just letting you know, again, Google's going to cover their own bases. They're going to make it sound super nice, super plain language for you. But that's letting you know that, hey, it may be them, it may not be them. And, if somebody decided, unfortunately, that they wanted to hack into your stuff, send you a document, and then turn around and sign it, that is a possibility. It may even write Jane Doe in there, but, then they can do the audio summary. Yeah, the other features, it doesn't look like it won't let them automatically access that audio summary or overview that it showed for me earlier. But when you go back to everything, again, it shows you where exactly the document is. You can click on it. And right here, it'll bring you right back to everything. It'll be automatically updated. So it doesn't give you, the creator, the option to change that document once it's sent out. This is a good thing. Again, you don't want documents changing in between the time that they were created and when you sign them, without your knowledge of it. You definitely don't want to have available for you guys. Just want to throw these in here because I have no idea what I was saying by this point. So the best things that I can remember are, listen, you can put multiple signers on here. You can put different assignees on different things. You can obviously make them. Let me know if you guys want videos about what to do when there's multiple signers. I don't mind breaking down something like that, again, just showing you what it looks like on the end of other people whenever they get the content. Maybe you want to see what it looks like if someone wants to go back on it, or just whatever combinations that you guys are looking for, let me know. Just as a general reminder, at the Law Shop Alabama, we primarily serve service-based businesses. That's those in trades, as well as those who are in the arts, that sort of thing. One-time type services, that can be event planning, that can be lawn care, that can be photography. But with that, we primarily do, again, service-based businesses. So these are who we suggest to look at these resources, to share these resources with. In addition to that, other resources that we have include the business health assessment by the Law Shop Alabama. See where you are in your business. Maybe you're further along or a little bit behind from where you thought you were. Next, we have our contract audit checklist. Something like that would be great in conjunction with this, because it'll let you know, is my contract missing things? Here there's no title at the top of the contract, but then you also don't have anything, the jurisdiction of where the contract is relevant to, anything like that, right? Because it's bare basics, or this isn't even bare basics, it's just words on a page for the example here. But we also have the third resource of how to make the first draft of a contract using ChatGPT. Again, I'm an attorney. Attorneys are not out here using ChatGPT, or they shouldn't be out here using ChatGPT to create contracts. At the same time, as a licensed attorney, I know for a fact that there are people out here using Copilot, Grok, Chat, and other AI services or platforms to make contracts. And some of them don't come to me, or they might come to me to try to fix the contract or edit or review or whatever. And so, since I know there are people that are out there doing it, that's who I made the first draft for them. Also, I consider it a very good mental exercise to, again, understand what you should be having in your contract, what you should be looking out for. These are all questions to get the ball rolling, before you come in for a consultation. So that way you can have great questions for your attorney, like myself, who's going to help you. We can get you, good deals like we want to help you out, that sort of thing. And I would say check those out. I'll post those below, those additional resources. Again, that's your business health assessment, that is your contract audit checklist, as well as your how to make a first draft of a contract using ChatGPT. So if you guys want any more videos about this sort of stuff, let me know if you find it interesting, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.